This is Dredge, a fishing game that seems relaxing on the surface, but apparently has some sort of dark secret. And I, Mono Aurelio, am on a mission to catch every single fish in the game. Let's get right into the fishing shenanigans. I begin my journey like every great story should, sailing the high seas in search of fame, riches, and busty Asian bit. Wait, is that a rock? I wake up in a town called the Greater Morrow and was greeted by the mayor. This Scrooge Monopoly Man hybrid offers me one of the town's fishing boats since my ship has more holes in it than a peaceful protester. I accept the offering and sail out of the port, and not too long later, I got my first fish, a blue mackerel. One down, 127 more to go. Jesus Christ, this is gonna take a while. I also caught the worst video game franchise and hentai star Daddy Tentacles. But night came fast and I was introduced to a new gameplay feature, the panic mechanic, which will make me hallucinate and believe things that aren't true. Now, I know you might be asking yourself, what are these other things the prompt references? Well, that's a great question. The only things that can reduce the madness are sleeping and bright lights, because you can't have a panic attack if you're passed out or having an epileptic seizure. I talked to Bullhat Peter Griffin some more and he tells me that I'm gonna have to pay for the boat that he lended me. But instead of running my pockets like an IRS agent, he says that he'll just take a portion of my fish sales until the debt is paid off. On the topic of selling my fish, this is when I'm introduced to the fishmonger, an anorexic Kratos who desperately needs to trim his goddamn nails. Putting his poor nail hygiene aside, not only can I sell him fish, but he gives me pay bonuses for completing fish orders, which will help me pay off my debt faster than a certain former president paying off a prostitute.
Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down?
Afterwards, I was introduced to the shipwright. Using the brain power stored in her big-ass forehead, this gritty grandma could fix anything. Well, almost anything. We all know nothing can fix that. I sailed out in the night and caught myself a black grouper, forbidden fish dildo number 1, and the Steve Irwin eradicator. My inventory filled up pretty fast though, so I returned to the Greater Morrow to sell my fish and sleep through the night. But when I arise from my slumber, I was stopped by a new NPC, the lighthouse keeper. After making some oddly racist remarks, she goes back to her lighthouse like a bitch, and I go back to the seas like a Chad. I caught some flounder and used them to complete my first fish order, which gave me enough money to pay off my debt. And now that it's paid off, I can make modifications to the boat to make it bigger, faster, stronger, and sexier. But to do that, I'll need materials that I can only get with a special tool. More on that later. To complete the task at hand, we're gonna need a lot of different types of equipment, which means we're gonna need hella bands in order to pay for that equipment. So I spent a couple days pulling large hauls of fish to pay for the necessary upgrades. While exploring, I discovered a new town across from the Greater Morrow named the Lesser Morrow. Man, misogyny, racism, and now classism in the first 3 minutes of the video? I'm only one spot away from completing my Twitter cancellation bingo card. The Lesser Morrow is home to many more interesting people, like Doomer Wojak, Zestfest Gandhi, and best of all, Peter Parker. No, not that one, the depressed one. No, not him either. The other depressed one. Yeah, that motherfucker. I completed another fish order and used the money to upgrade my rods, allowing me to reel in the heavier fish of the sea, like your mother. I left the dock in the morning and saw a group of fish emitting a strange light. I start fishing and caught myself a British mackerel. While I was out, I went into some deeper waters and caught some danger dolphins. And later in the night, I finished filling up my boat with some squids. Jesus Christ, which coochie did this one slip out of? The presence of the snot squid is making me queasy, so let's sail back to the Greater Morrow. The chlamydia squid ended up giving one of my sharks some black fungus herpes. Now I should dispose of the shark safely so that no one gets sick, but I'm trying to make a band here, so I sailed straight to the Morrow to sell that shit to the fishmonger. But when I approached him, he asked if he could see my British mackerel. He started acting a little weird, like EDP trying to get a cupcake type of weird. He started feeling up on the fish and pulled out a handkerchief, cause I guess this bitch is a magician now. And as I finished selling him his new fishy fleshlight, a strange man with glasses stares at me through the window. He tells me to meet up with him on Blackstone Isle for a business proposition. Now, I'm no businessman, but I am a firm follower in the saying, fuck around and find out. I pull up to the mansion and get greeted by the mystery man, Zeke Yeager. I give him the handkerchief, and in return, he installs a whole-ass dredge on the back of my ship, which allows me to get materials for upgrading my ship, as well as other artifacts that Zeke is looking for. Wait, is that a boat? What you doing sailing around at a time like this? After repairing the glory holes that the night angler gave me, I went back to fishing and caught myself some black tip reef sharks. Dear God, I know I shouldn't stick my dick in that. But if you guys like and subscribe, while continuing to farm for fish and materials, I ended up completing another fish order, which gave me access to crab traps. These things are great because just like kids, you could drop them off somewhere, forget about them, and come back 18 years later when you need money for alcohol and Korean hookers. Personal trauma aside, these traps will allow me to catch fish that can't be caught by my rods. While I waited on the crab traps, I caught a masochistic fleshlight, the sea Cerberus, and I think that's...
Hola, niño.
I wake back up at the Greater Morrow and find an eldritch beacon out at sea. I dredge up the area and find the goddamn keyblade, I guess. Why does it take up so much space? I gave it to the old man and he starts reading from his book like he Richtofen with the Chronorium. By doing so, he gives me the haste ability, which allows me to kick my engines into maximum overdrive. Using this new ability, I zoomed around the Morrows getting materials to upgrade the ship. Doing so would allow me to explore the other islands to catch new fish. During this grind, I found a crusty old man who begged me to take him back to civilization. Although I was busy with a much more important endeavor, I decided to be nice and give him safe passage. After delivering him to Davy Jones, I checked out the crab traps and acquired some common crabs and a fiddler crab, which helped me complete another fish order. But before I went back to my ship to roll around in my money, the fishmonger gave me one last job. He wanted me to get him another aberration, probably since he ripped up the last one with those long-ass fingernails. Bro, trim them shits, please! Now, I know I haven't been very considerate of this man's health, but am I really gonna enable him to commit crimes against the animal kingdom? Of course I am! Before sailing to the next island over, I installed a fish net so that I could catch fish just by sailing around. Not only will this help me catch fish much faster, but there's a couple of fish in the game that can only be caught using this net. Oh, yo, it's already working! I pulled into the city of Inkville and met some of the residents. Racially inclusive Dorothy, the old guy from Up, and tomboy Mikasa. I checked out her shop and saw that she had refined metal for sale, a material I could use to upgrade my hull, or build a pipe bomb. Either or, this was a must-have. So I spent the whole day exploring the cliffs and catching every fish in sight. I got some blackmouth salmon, tiger mackerels, decaying blackmouths, sturgeons, and a translucent sturgeon. I have not heard of that gender, but the more the merrier, I guess.
B-I-N-G-O.
I also grabbed some oceanic perches. Oh, come on! Once I got away, I kidnapped the science teacher from Finding Nemo and returned to the traveling merchant to sell and repair. I still needed a little more money before I could purchase the refined metal, so I spent another day fishing. In doing so, I caught stonefish Steve Austin and a British piranha. After buying the refined metal and upgrading my ship, I focused on catching fish for a bit, and in doing so, I caught the all-seeing cod, voltaic grouper, many-eyed mackerel, wreckfish, and another poor STD victim of the sea. Alright, whose coochie is spreading this vile gunk around? Bitch, you need to be stopped. After I sold them, I sailed out to explore a new set of islands, the Devil's Spine, which turned out to be a volcanic area with fog so thick I was scared one of these ugly shits was gonna jump out of the musky mesk and skull fuck me. After catching a snake and a serpentine mackerel, I pulled into one of the ruins to meet the one and only resident of this island, an old white man wearing a robe thinking he young gravy. Bitch, are those scales? Does personal hygiene exist in this goddamn game? Your skin is screaming for a bottle of Aveeno right now, please. He explains to me that I need to ignite the crucibles with 3 fathomless flames. Oh, okay, buddy. I leave the lunatic and vacate the area. Although there's a lot of fish I need to catch here, I don't have the right equipment to catch them just yet. So I return to Gale Cliffs to grind out some more. I also took this time to socialize with the trader, and she fills me in about the exotic fish in the game. For those of you who don't know, there's 4 exotic fish that can only be caught at very specific places at very specific times, making them a very valuable catch. And since I need to, catch every single goddamn fish in the game, I decided for once in my life I'd actually listen to a woman. She then revealed the identity of the 4 exotic fish: the deep danger noodle, the not so deep, not so dangerous noodle, Goliath tigerfish, and the coconut. However, she didn't really tell me where the fish are or where to catch them, just some basic fun facts that she probably heard off of National Geographic or some shit. I guess that's what I get for listening to a woman, so I'll just have to keep my eyes peeled for them as I sail the seas. I bought more refined metal and decided to check out another set of islands, the Stellar Basin. On my way there, I caught myself some blackfin tuna, red snappers, and a wiggly glow stick. As it got dark, the entire place lit up like an oceanic strip club, but I couldn't see your mother working no matter how hard I searched. I caught some barracuda. That better not be scarlet rot, I swear to God. I am Melania, Blade of Barracuda. While exploring the basin, I found some sort of fort in the distance. I checked it out and found the long-lost ugly Tess twin. She explains that she wants some of the tentacly fish around the area for her experiments. Yeah, with a face like that, I'd be experimenting with tentacles too. And I know there's probably some people commenting right now, Mono, you can't say that. That's fucked up. Bitch, I'm ugly too. I just own up to it better than Minecraft YouTubers. But I sidelined her quest in order to upgrade my ship some more. During the grind, I caught a swordfish, a vertical flounder, many more fish aberrations, and I checked the crab traps to see that I caught 2 new species of crab. And after selling my fish, I was able to upgrade my equipment to explore the Devil's Spine. Here I caught some armored sea robin, privileged stingray, forbidden fish dildo number 2, its British counterpart, and a frilled shark. While exploring the area, I got ran up on by some little fish, but their attempt to swarm my boat was absolutely pitiful. But yeah, you're all gonna need a bigger fish if you want even a crumb of my scrap. I decided to check out the last unexplored cluster of islands on the map, the Twisted Strand, which turned out to be a swamp filled with weird-looking plants. It's alive! Fuck out of here with your schizo ray, bitch! I carefully traversed the swampy waters and caught a gray mullet, a sergeant fish, and a catfish. And deeper in the bog, I found a crashed aircraft, but instead of finding Kobe Bryant, I found an airman instead. He's been waiting for his friends to clutch the gulag so that he could kill these mortared willows.
You're the last one. Complete the mission.
So we squad up to get rid of the mine sucker problem. In order to do that, we're gonna need to build a mortar. But since we don't have a Clash of Clans builder, we're gonna need to do it ourselves, which sounds difficult at first, but the airman tells me there's only 2 pieces we need for the mortar, and both of them are somewhere within the strand. The first part didn't take too long to find, but the second part was behind a fallen log that can only be moved with the power of a law. So I left the strand in order to focus on the challenge at hand, but soon realized that I was blocked from progressing even further. You see, even though I bought all the equipment that the merchants were selling, there's still a couple items I need in order to finish catching all the fish in the game. And the only way to get those items are through a 2-word combo that we all hate with the burning passion: side quests. So let's put our shonen undies on and take care of everyone's problems so that we can continue catching the horrors of the deep. The first person I went to help was Genderbender Dexter, since she has a special rod that will allow me to catch 2 new types of fish. So I returned to the Stellar Basin to fuel her hentai haven daydream by giving her all the tentacly fish in the area for whatever horrible nasty acts she wants to do with them. Wait a minute, you guys don't think. Next, I give her some prototype parts I found in a shack nearby, and she combines them to give me the sampling device, which allows me to catch abyssal and haddlefish. She also gives me the repulsion machine, which keeps me safe from the glowing Sarlacc pit by playing an unbearable frequency. I think it's safe to say that we're all kind of curious, so let's go ahead and boot this thing up. Oh, fuck! Shit, turn it off, goddammit! While the ear rape was playing, I utilized this moment to catch all the fish in the area safely, which consisted of coral groupers, anglerfish, cursed boomerang, blood snapper, medusa octopus, isopod going through puberty, fangtooth, hammerhead shark, and forbidden fish dildo number 3. As it got dark, I saw the silhouette of a strange fish in the deep waters. I reel it in and got myself the ball-gulping eel, one of the 4 exotic fish of the game. While the squid was still reeling at the horrible frequency, I dredged to the center of the basin to find the ugliest Pandora band I've ever seen. I made my way to Zeke Yeager to give him the fake Gucci bracelet, and in return he gives me the ability to manifest. What does this do? Good question, let's try it out. Why does my tummy feel like downtown Atlantic traffic? The next side quest on the agenda is fixing a family dispute. Although it's none of my business, completing this quest gives me access to explosives, which I'll need to access secret areas of the islands. So it's time to Dr. Phil this shit. Long story short, I found a family crest, cleared this old guy's name, reunited him with his brother, and they thanked me by giving me access to the family explosives pile. My brothers in Christ, are you preparing for Afghanistan? I Michael Bay'd the debris around the city and dredged up another artifact, a rusty music box. I took this to Zeke and he gave me the Banish ability, which allows me to send fish to the Mega Gay Zone. Oh, it just repels them. Now that we have explosives, we can finally help the airman drone strike the vine monsters. So I returned to the strand and dredged up the second half of the mortar from earlier. During the search, I caught a tarpon, herpes tarpon, horseshoe crab, nightwing catfish, gar, clawfin gar, longfin eel, giant mud crab, and the Goliath tigerfish. While the airmen focused on assembling the mortar, I placed bait around the bog and watched as the monsters got smited by the force of America. As a reward, the airman gives me a family heirloom passed on from generation to generation, holding massive amounts of sentimental value. So I pawned it off to Zeke and he gives me a new ability, Atrophy. This allows me to pull up schools of fish and pick and choose the ones I want like a fantasy football draft. Next, I went to the Devil's Spires to complete my last side quest, sacrificing fish to an eldritch god for a fathomless flame so that we can light the beacons to become part of the Great Old One. So I spent some time thoroughly catching the fish in the area and filled my ship with some rap sharks, ghost sharks, squat lobsters, spider crabs, ossified sea robins, and the coconut fish. After sacrificing the fish and securing the flames, I light the beacons and the fanatic starts the ritual, accidentally sacrificing himself in the process. I yoink the fanatic's pocket watch and pawn it to Zeke as usual, but instead of giving me a new power, he asks me to go on one last fishing ride with him. Now, if you have seen any gangster movie ever, you know that one last ride means one thing: a bullet in the back of your skull. So before we kill ourselves, let's at least finish catching all the fish first. Now that I've caught all the fish in the game, I decided to end my adventure by... Wait, what's that? Drop in book for hot G... Oh, fuck yeah! I've always wanted my own punching bag. Oh shit, I messed up. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, sub, and comment what game I should play next, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.
I put my faith inside an uncaring God's palm. 10 years until my paradigm shifted. DMC dialogue, I ran the walls of my skull until my feet bled black. I'm near the peak, step back, I felt yo.